Hiya, it's Kerry from Mobilates. Oh, it's session 95. These things just creep up. So I'm glad you're with me today. We have got 30 minutes of gentle Pilates-inspired movement, taking it just slow, steady, stopping for drinks whenever you need some. And if it's your first one, welcome. Just dip in, see how you feel for it. The most important thing is you feel safe in your body, safe in your movement. Don't focus on what you struggle with, focus on what really works for you and what feels good. I want you to feel good after this. So we can do this standing, we can do this seated. We're going to come down to either a mat or it could be your bed. So you could do it sitting from the edge of your bed and then you just take your legs up. People here already, hi Jackie, we shall get started. Take your legs a little wider, feet pointing forwards or forwards-ish, and just shift your weight from foot to foot, sitting bone to sitting bone. Hi Irene, hi Lisa. Oh, lovely to have you all here. Oh, it really helps me when I know I've got regulars coming here and when I see new names that I don't know. It's just so encouraging. Right, shifting our weight, sit bone to sit bone, foot to foot, just getting that feel of where gravity's going. And then find somewhere in between. I'm just softening my knees a little. They tend to push back rather a lot, so I just want some softness in the body. And then scooping up some air, and it's air, super gentle, pushing down. I don't even want to say pushing because I want it to be really soft. I want you to breathe in as you scoop. Send the breath down so you feel your belly swell. And then as you breathe out, you could slow yourself down with that sort of blow through your lips, or you could use your nose. You can even close your eyes like this. If you want to make this bigger, oh, this is a big one, you can do. If you want to make it smaller and that's more comfortable, you can do that too. One more. I feel like I just want to stretch up a little bit on this one. And then give your fingers a little shake, your arms a little wiggle, bringing our feet in. And now I'm looking down. I want a gap about big enough for a book between your feet. And if you're seated, it's about 2 fists between your knees. Right, soft stance again, but really upright with your spine. So how do we get that? Just think grow tall. You could always imagine your hand like a book above you and grow into your hand. It just feels like you've just grown a little extra part of your spine there. Right, from here, pelvic tilts. So you could place your hands either on your thighs if you're standing or on the very edge of your knees with straight arms if you're sitting. Keep this upright spine. Take a breath in. This time, not much room for your belly. It's much tighter from being upright. Into your ribs, please. Stretch your rib cage. And as you breathe out, pull back. So you're thinking the back of your waistband is traveling backwards. You can think about your belly coming away from your top and then come upright. Breathing in, pulling back. Can't see much from that angle. I'm going to change the angle. Here's my upright. My breath. It's soft and subtle, and you can see this is the part of me that moves because it's pelvic tilt. I want to see the pelvis tilting here at the bottom. So this, not quite the same. We've got some pelvis, we've got an awful lot of spine, just the pelvis. We'll come into the rest of the back. And if I'm standing, you tend to see it from this side of my bum. And then we'll give a little wiggle side to side. A tap on the back of your head, just enough to give you some tingles and sensations. And then take that sensation back a little. Feel longer in your neck. In fact, feel longer down your whole spine. Oh, that's good. Right, let's have a little head turn. And we're just gliding the neck. And it's the range of motion that works for you. If your neck is stiff and you've got a small range of motion, stick in that. If you've got a larger range of motion, go for that. But now come back to the center. Keep that length, that feeling from top to the bottom of your spine, And then we're going to tilt ear towards shoulder. Now, when I have people in person, what I sometimes see is this going on. So the whole head starts going, and we don't get these muscles having the movement, we just get all sorts of extras going on. So what you can do is place your fingers just under your chin, like you're saying a little prayer. And then same thing. And I like to close my eyes and just imagine the back of my head drawing a little bridge or an arc. And it frees up the movement. Come back to the center, open your eyes. Let's go for some shoulder rolls. So I'm trying to draw a sort of circle here with the top of my shoulder, keeping the arms long. You can see my shoulders, they naturally go forwards a little bit. It's very normal. I'm just trying to give them a little bit more backward motion. We all know that sort of feeling. I'm trying to sort of open up a little here, but not so much that I start to look a bit like a chicken, keeping my head still. And every now and again, changing direction. And then we're going to do some little, well, these shrugs, that's the word I'm looking for. I was going to say shifts, shrugs, but one shoulder at a time. So it's quite mindful. You can feel your hand sliding down your leg or your side or the chair leg. And then we're going to take the arms and swing forward. Now, if you're in the chair, just watch out for the chair behind you, crashing into the back. And we can let the waist turn a little with this. The head just goes with the waist. Lovely. Let's get down to the feet then. They need a bit of waking up. So wriggles from the toes. I'm just giving them all a little wriggle. Up and down with the toes. Anything you can get, just any little wriggles, just like you would with your hands. The hands can join in too. And then lift all the toes and hold on to something. Rest your hands somewhere if it unsettles your balance. So all the toes are up. Now I'd like you to try and put just the little toes down on the outside. My fingers are doing it too. And then lift them up. Little toes again. You can just about see mine going down. I promise they are. And then put all the toes down. Just have a little wiggle in between. Lift all the toes up again. Now big toes going down. Oh, this may be a little harder, maybe easier. You might find one toe can go down more firmly than the other. You might also find that as they go down, they come inwards a little. So if you have bunions or you just have that thing where your toe goes in, hallux valgus, I think it's called, your toe bones go inwards. Mine do it a bit, start to criss and cross that way. You may notice that happening as well. These sorts of exercises really helpful for the foot in all ways. So, and then place all of your toes down. Have a little shift on your feet, a little walk on the spot. Right now, we're going to have a balance. You might need to touch something, just enough to bring your foot forwards. And I'm going to just go back a little so you can see my foot forwards and off the floor, just off the floor. So I could be touching the chair here. Then bring your toes towards you and lengthen them away towards you. And then as long a foot as you can have, maybe the tips of your toes touching the floor. One more time. And then keep your foot up and wiggle the ankle about. Same foot, you can pop it down for a moment. We're going to bring this leg a little higher or your foot off the floor. The knee is just somewhere in front of you. So it's not back here, the knee is ahead somewhere. So it might be you're like this with your heel up. And if you're seated in the chair, it's probably like that. Or with your foot flat and just hovering off the floor. If your leg can come higher, if you're seated, you're already in this angle. Or you can see I'm getting wobbly. Now, bring your hand to your thigh. Gentle pressure, leg into hand and hand into leg. Can you breathe for me as well? Maybe count out loud. 1, 2, 3. Proves that you're still breathing. Oh, and then a little wiggle. Right, I'm going to try and remember what we did for the other side. First, find our balance. One foot's coming forwards. We can start to, I'm going to use my chair as well, lift that foot off the floor, just a little. Toes towards you. long, long foot, toes towards you, long foot, toes towards you, long foot. We're done on that. Let's wiggle the foot around. So it might be that's what you're getting. It might be you can give me some little lower down sweeps. You might be able to get a full circle each way. Take a break for a moment. Remember which leg you're working on. And then we're going to bring this leg up a bit. So it could be I've got the toes of my feet down, but not the heel. And that could be enough challenge. It could be just hovering off the floor. So you know you can just touch down whenever you need to. It could be higher and your hand is there. If you're seated, I'm going to do the seated version. I'm floating my foot off the floor. Pressing down with this hand. Breathing and counting. 1, 2, 3, and then place it down and just give your legs a little wiggle, give yourselves a little wiggle, and then something a bit softer, a little scoop of the water, swish it around you. Let your legs move, let your feet move. So you're getting a little bit of rotation at your waist and at your spine, but it's quite soft. And then come back to the center. And then we can rest our hands on the chest, or we can do like we did before, the little prayer under the chin. And now smaller turns. If you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, keep this really small, this rotation, because your hips are still now. So really little, more like this. If you haven't, you can take it further. But what you can do with osteoporosis and osteopenia, so it feels like a bigger movement, is to move your foot and turn your body. So you'll still get some turn from your waist, but with your foot moving, it's going to feel more dynamic. Come back to the center, little wriggle out. We're going to go to the side. Just going to straighten my mat a little. So with this one leg is staying where it is. It's glued to the spot. The other leg is have a little push out to the side and pushing you back. So it's like it's testing the ground and then it's pushing you back to the other leg. Now you can start to get lower. Send your bum back behind you as your leg goes down. I'll show you from the side. And then you can start just pushing and holding your leg up. Now, if you're seated, I'm shifting my weight here and then in. And I'm really pushing down through the floor. And I'm using a bit of hand and body weight too, because I'm not getting as much gravity going over me as when I'm doing this standing. And then you can push and back, push and back, push and back. Well done. In the middle, seated, I'd like to do a little hinge forwards and backwards. Could be really little like that. It could be lower. If you're standing, take your legs a little wider. We can go into a squat with our hands going to our knees, or the hands could go forwards, a little touch. There's lots of saying a little prayer here today. I don't know what that signifies. You can reach your arms forward, like you're going to reach into the screen. Last one. And then we've got to do the other side. So that little testing the ground and push yourself back. Test the ground, push yourself back. Now, if you have knee problems and it's sore in your knee, maybe you don't bend so far down. So that knee just comes a little bit forwards, it bends just a little bit, rather than super low and going on a further angle. So just going to where it works for this side. But that little bit of push, that little bit of bounce almost. And I'm using a spongy mat, and that's, sort of helping. Last one. Well done. Right, we're going to go into a little bit of swishing, just to take us to the other half. So arm swings, this time it's both arms. Now I think a little bit of leaning back, sending the chest up. That's it. And then just hold it up. You can bring your arms down, little double your arms, squeezing down, feeling your shoulder blades squeeze together at the back. And then we're going to take it down to the floor. So I'm going to change my camera angle. I'm going to grab some water along the way and a cushion. And we're going to lie back with our legs bent, head on something if it wants it. I'm all in blue today. Blue everything. Bluey greeny. My favourite. Right. Let's take it down to the floor or your bed. If you're on your bed, take your duvet back so that you're on the mattress. It's going to be a little bit firmer and you want some firmness beneath you. You want a nice solid feeling of floor or bed. Oh, that's good. Right. Take the feet a little bit forward. So often I see people with their legs like this, quite a small triangle of leg here. Just take it a little further forward and just feel more of your pelvis and your sacrum, the bony bit at the back of your bottom, more of that on the floor. So let that be heavier here. Having a little wriggle. And then just check in with your head, how it's feeling against your cushion, your eyes. If you open them, just look up at the ceiling. It feels like you're tipping your head back. You might need a little bit more under your head. Feels like you're looking through your knees, maybe too much. And then you can let your arms rest somewhere comfortable. I like my palms up. It just feels more open in my shoulders and any other little wriggles that you need. And then we're going to breathe into your rib cage and really feel it stretch. Your rib cage is a bouncy, stretchy design. Let's test it. Let's breathe into it. And breathe out. See if you can do it through your nose. And as you come to the end of that breath, you feel the ribs closing, coming in, tightening, because they can do that opening and closing. And your belly contracts a little as well. Breathe in, expand your ribs. Breathe out. Feel those ribs coming in. It's almost like someone's tightened a belt, but it's a wide, elasticy sort of belt rather than just one tight, rigid belt around your belly. And then take a break from that focus. And imagine I've just placed a jammy donut right under here. So where my hand is here, my leg, oh yeah, it's right there, the low lumbar spine. So a round jammy donut. It's just under there. Please don't squash it just yet. Take your breath in just like you did before. As you breathe out, lower your pelvis down, the back of your pelvis, the back of your waistband down. Let your belly sink. Squash that donut. As you breathe in, feel yourself just lifting that part of your back, your lumbar, away from it. Breathe out, lower and squash the donut. Feel your belly sort of ripple and scoop and tighten upwards. Breathing in, coming away from the donut. Breathing out, one more squash. It's going to be a very splattered donut. And then relax. Right, where are we going next? Something with the legs, I feel. Oh yes, I can remember. Right, I'm going to go into a bridge first. Sliding anything under your head away now. Bringing the legs a little closer. The same sort of tilt that we've just been doing. So that donut could still be there. Breath in again, but the feet are closer and we'll start to press into them. Not yet. Breath in. Breath out. Start to squash that donut. And when you feel that that donut's squashed, press into your feet. Feel your bum just start to lift and raise your hips. This part right up. And now the space underneath you. Hold it there. Breath. Breathing out. Slowly lower down. Beautiful. Breath in. Squash your donut. Pelvic tilt. Press into your feet. Lift up your hips. Now we're not trying to get that sort of arch. We're just raising the hips here until you feel you've peeled away from the floor. It's like a slope, so it might be a low down slope and then more of your back's on the floor, or it might be like a clean diagonal. Now I'd like to open your knees out a bit, maybe a little more, but try not to do that and sink down. So keep your hips up. You might even put your hands under your bum just so you feel it doesn't drop. You're not actually holding it up, you're just touching it. Close the legs again. Lower, 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 lower. And we could do that same leg opening. It's much easier on the floor. Going up again, breath in. Last one, going up. Hold it there, knees are pointing forwards. Relax your bum, you can give it a little jiggle if you like. And then keep the height here. Hands out to the side, that might be nice. They're very light, and you just open your knees and just holding everything up. Now you can feel different bits under your bum just starting to activate to hold you up there. Bring it back, lower, 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 and bring your knees in. And have a little rock or a circle. You could be holding the backs of your thighs or your shins. And then take your legs down, little ahead again, so you feel that heaviness at the back of your sacrum. Arms by your sides, breath in. Breathe out, control your belly so it's got tension there in your core, and take your leg up to a tabletop, a right angle, and just holding it there. Now we're going to dip our legs down, but we're not going to let the foot drop like that. We're just going to keep this shape. So when we move it, I'm going to do it in slow-mo. I'm just going to dip my toe and then take it up. Dip my toe, take it up. I'm looking for vertical on this leg. One more. And just resist your leg a little. Give it a little push and then don't let that leg move. And take it down. And let both legs have a little flop. Same on this side. Breath in. Breath out. The core has got you. Float that leg up. Look at the shape. Don't let that happen. Don't even let this happen. Keep the shape. Keep this space the same underneath. Dip the toe down. It's often further than you think. We tend to want to do that. But you can see that's the lower leg moving backwards and forwards. Keep it the same. The movement is here at the hip. That's it. Hold the last one and just give your leg a little push away and resist it. You can feel your core has to work harder for that one. Take it down. Take your arms out. Bring your legs together and just let the legs have a gentle sway. Your feet stick together so it's like you've got a mermaid bottom half. Right, this mermaid's going to grow legs. This time, when you go over to one side, so I'm going to come over to you, I'm going to lengthen the top leg. Now, if that feels too much, you could just lengthen it a little. And then bring the knees back to the middle. Squeeze the legs together. Go over as far as is comfortable. Your shoulders and your head, that's the one. Shoulders and head stay down. And then lengthen the top leg as far as you can. That's full length. This would be a little, and this would be a little bit more. Bring that leg back to the center. Right, next part. Where are we going next? Oh, onto our front. So we're going to take it so that we're belly down. Take your time. Don't really need the cushion for this one. You might possibly want it under here. Sometimes that's more comfortable if your lower back gets very tight. Let's start with our head downwards, and you can just turn it to one side to be comfortable. Right, legs. Don't need them super wide. Don't need them close together. A bit of comfortable space. But I'm not flopping. I'm just going to make my legs long, and I'm pressing them down into the floor a little bit. Right, now arms. I'm going for a sort of goalpost sort of shape. And now you can see I've turned my head, forehead down. Keep those legs long. And you want to feel like you're trying to pull your belly up Our bellies are bellies. That's where the fat collects and they tend to hang heavier. And if I say lift your belly, we can't lift our bellies up off the floor, but it's the muscles underneath that we're trying to activate. And as you have that feeling of activating, pulling away from maybe ice or something really chilly, you can feel here starts to get a little bit more active. That's what we're looking for. Right, now lift your head and chest. I'm thinking about peeling the chest off the mat and down. My arms, minimal pushing. They're just really there. I'm not pushing through them. And that's why I'm not coming up very high. I'm just using my back muscles, and we're talking mid-back here, to get me up. And then rest for a moment. Bring your hands under your head, turn your legs off and wiggle your bum. Then bring your head back to the ground. And this time with the hands and arms, we are going to push into them. And it's like we're almost sliding them forwards, but they don't move anywhere. And we're going to lift our head up, lift our chest up, and go into a back bend as far as you want to go. My first one I'm going to keep small and take it down. You might want your arms closer in. You could do it from here. You could even go into this sort of cobra position. And you can pull forwards, you can pull back. Depends what's comfortable. That's me pulling forwards. That's me pulling back. And then take it down. Give your bum a wiggle. We're going to concentrate on the legs next. Lifting one leg, just like you're trying to touch a skirting board. So it's like I'm trying to get my toe to the skirting board opposite me. And then take it down. And then the other leg, I'm just lifting it enough so my toe is just at the height of the skirting board, maybe the top of it, taking it down. So when you lift your legs like this, part of your leg is going to still be touching the mat. So I can still feel my thigh on the mat. I'm definitely feeling my hips. And I'm trying to make my leg even as long as possible. We could take one up and then take it out to the side, like you're drawing a horizontal line with your toes. The other one out to the side. Let's try both legs. Now that might be enough for you, so you could take it down, or you could hold it and then take them both out and in and down. Up, out, in, down. Last one, up, out, in, down, and then bend, and then just windscreen wiper your legs. It's floppy, and we're just easing things off. You could also take your legs wide and just let your hips sway from side to side. Let your head rest to the side if that's comfy. We're going to push back. So you could push back to child position, or you might roll onto your back and bring your knees into your chest. So I'm going to push back nice and slow so I get a big stretch, or pushing away with my arms. And then bring yourself up to sitting. And we're going to do a little hand exercise just to finish. So let's have finger, thumb, fingers, working our way through each finger, going for the pads. Trying to get a bit of contact. I'm going to come closer. Now the very top of the finger to the thumb. Harder. And then we're going to do spider fingers. Flicking out. And you are done. Take your hands to the side and scoop up some air. Go as high as you like to bring your hands together. Bring them into your chest. Thank your body. It served you well this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again next week. Have a lovely week, all of you. Bye.